Number 7, for which growth season was the average amount of rainfall closest to the region's average rainfall per season? So we see average rainfall per season in figure 1. So let's just make that bigger. If we look at our answer choices, we only have 4 seasons to worry about. It's multiple choice, 5, 6, 8, and 14. So 5, 6, 8, 14, just circle those. And which one is closest to the line? It's actually a little tricky to see. 5 and 6 are really close together, but 6 is definitely closer to that average line, right? Closer to the middle. So your answer has to be season 6 because the average line is here, right? So this is above average, below average. We want the one closest to the line, which is season 6. Choice B. Number 8, season 9 and 11 had the same amount of rainfall, but season 9 had more dry spells than season 11. Based on table 1, so let's just make this table bigger. Did the number of dry spells in season 9 more likely have a positive or negative effect on sorghum? So we're looking at sorghum right here. We're looking at seasons 9 and 11, and we see that season 9 has a lower yield than 11. So we can go ahead and eliminate choice F and H because that's not true based on the information in the table. Season 9 did not have a greater yield than season 11. Now you just gotta have to say why. It had a negative effect because it didn't have as much yield. So J. Number 9, based on figure 1 and table 1, so we're using both, for the growth season with the least amount of rainfall. So the least amount of rainfall is going to be in figure 1, and that is going to be growth season 2 because that's the furthest below the average line. Which of Rapico or millet, so Rapico and millet, had the larger yield? We're looking at season 2. We wanted the larger yield, and what was that yield? So the larger one is Rapico, and it's 1,033, so choice A. Number 10, the rainfall deviation in centimeters for season 1 is closest to which of the following values? So season 1, let's make this bigger, and this is in millimeters, right? And it really doesn't matter. We didn't have to look here because all the numbers are the same, 225.225. So all we have to know is really how to convert centimeters to millimeters. So it's a great acronym you can remember for this knowledge question. King Henry died drinking chocolate milk. So if your base is in the middle, so if you're going this direction to the left, you're going to add a 0, right? Kilo, hecto, deca. If you're going to the right, you add a decimal point, 0.1, 0.001, 0.001, thousandths, hundredths, tenths place. And ACT generally asks the difference between milli and centa, right? Moving from millimeters to centimeters or centimeters to millimeters. So we're moving from millimeters, 225, move your decimal 1 spot to the left, and it's 22.5, choice H. This is one of the more common ACT knowledge questions. Number 11, does figure 1, so this is figure 1, make it bigger, show the variation in abiotic or biotic factors in the region. So what does figure 1 show us first? It shows us rainfall. So even if you don't know what abiotic or biotic means, you can eliminate choice A and C if you're looking at the correct figure because it shows rainfall, not crops grown. Crops grown is in table 1. So we can eliminate A and C. Then you have to have a little bit of knowledge. Biotic equals living, abiotic means not living. That prefix A means not. So it is, and rainfall is not a living factor. So it is abiotic. The amount of rainfall is a non-living factor. Number 12 is a suppose question. Anytime you see suppose if why, you're going to have to take the data that's presented and make an extension of the knowledge to draw a conclusion. So suppose a wet season is any growth season in which there is at least 900 millimeters of rainfall. Given the region's average rainfall and the data in figure 1, how many of the growth seasons, if any, would have been wet seasons? We're going to use this information, figure 1, and the explanation of figure 1. So the explanation tells us that the average rainfall is 600 millimeters per season. A wet season has at least 900 millimeters. So we need a season that has at least 300 millimeters more rainfall. And so there's only one of those that has 300 millimeters more, season 4. So one more season, the answer is G. So most of this passage was also interpretation of data questions. The only exception was question 8, where you had to read the data and then make a judgment about the data. So if you missed a bunch of those questions, look back and see if you can figure out what you can do to improve. Reach out if you have any questions. Our silly joke to end with, since this passage was about rain, is what do you call it if it's raining quarters? Climate change. Have a good day.